COVID numbers are falling. With another vaccine within reach, a possible new strain of the coronavirus may be spreading. NBC's Tom Costello joins us now with the very latest. Hey, Tom, morning.
Good morning. It's another morning of mixed news. We have hospitalizations and new cases continuing to trend downward. We still have much more demand for vaccine than we have supply. That could change over the weekend. Johnson & Johnson expected to receive emergency authorization from the FDA to go ahead with its vaccine. That vaccine would then start shipping right away. 4 million doses immediately out the door, 20 million doses by the end of March. That vaccine is proven to be 72% effective against the virus, 100% effective in preventing hospitalizations and deaths. This is coming as new variants of the virus are popping up in California, also in New York. And earlier this morning, Dr. Anthony Fauci talked to Savannah about that challenge.
Viruses don't mutate unless you give them the chance to replicate. And the way you prevent that is A, do the public health measures that we talk about all the time to prevent spread, and B, get vaccinated when the vaccine is available to you. And that's the reason why we feel good about yet again another candidate being in the mix.
Also this morning, Moderna says it has already given the NIH a new version of its vaccine which could address the variants, that's important, and potential booster shots that could be used down the road. Back to you.
All right, Tom Costello for us. Tom, thank you.
After a recent string of attacks against Asian Americans coast to coast, we're getting a look at how the nation's largest police force here in New York City is responding. NBC investigative and consumer correspondent Vicki Wynn's been reporting on this issue since last April. Vicki, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. Unfortunately, anti-Asian sentiment is not new, but since COVID-19, there's been a rise in the number of racist attacks against Asians. This morning, what it takes to solve these crimes and new federal efforts to stop the hate. We do want to warn you, some of the videos you're about to see are disturbing.
After 5 attacks on Asian Americans in just 2 days in New York City, the mayor launching a task force and website to make it easier to report potential hate crimes.
No place for hate in New York City toward our Asian brothers and sisters.
In Los Angeles, U.S. Air Force veteran Denny Kim beaten.
And they started calling me Ching, Chinese virus, just all sorts of nasty stuff.
It comes after at least 18 attacks in the San Francisco area this month, including one that killed an 84-year-old immigrant from Thailand, Vicha Ratanapakdi. NBC News first reported on the spike in anti-Asian incidents last spring after the nonprofit group Stop AAPI Hate created a national reporting system. AAPI is an acronym for Asian American Pacific Islander. They recorded more than 2,800 incidents in a 10-month period last year.
It happened in an instant.
Sam Chang's mother was attacked last week in New York. How did she want to handle things?
She actually didn't want any trouble. She wanted to, just put it all behind her.
But Sam and his friend, actress Olivia Munn, posted these images captured by witnesses who followed the man. Police made an arrest the next day for assault and harassment.
So what would you say to folks who feel like, I don't have this kind of voice? How would you encourage them to speak up?
If you can learn to not be afraid and not to just bury your own pain, you'll see that there are so many people in the world who want to help us.
Deputy Inspector Stuart Liu heads the NYPD's Asian Hate Crimes Task Force. In 2019, NYPD recorded 3 hate incidents against Asian Americans, but in 2020, that number jumped to 27, an 800% increase.
As I understand it, the task force doesn't actually go out and canvass the neighborhoods and build those community policing relationships. Should the task force take a more active role in the community?
I would love to do that, and I think it should be done. But the task force is comprised of detectives who are already assigned to squads all over the city. So we don't have the proper resources.
2 detectives, Vince Wu and Danny Zhang, trying to break down language and cultural barriers. They say building trust in the communities they serve resulted in 20 arrests last year.
你们不要紧张，我们警察 we will help you. Do not be afraid. Do not fear of retaliation. Don't worry about the language barrier or your immigration status. We're here to help.
Now lawmakers want Congress to pass the No Hate Act to improve hate crimes reporting. The new action welcomed by Sam Chang. He read this message on behalf of his mother.
Thank you for everyone who has cared and has reached out. Hope everyone doesn't discriminate between races and lives in harmony and peace.
Now, NBC News contacted the suspect in Sam's mom's case. He said that footage of the incident was selectively edited and that fuller video from multiple angles would vindicate him. He also said he was defending himself after the victim sprayed mace into his face. Now, authorities say if you are a victim or a witness, report the incident, and if you can, do it safely. Try to get photos or video that helps them solve these crimes.
Really disturbing. All right, Vicki, thank you very much.
We appreciate it,
Stay
Vicki.
on it.
All right, we got the news covered. Would you like a boost?
Would I ever?
This is a cutie. A dad with identical twin daughters, Harper